In war, we seem to often forget about what's important. Often, we are blinded by politics. We seem to forget about the most important detail, the people who sacrifice everything. Often, they will appear as just statistics, just a number. However, each and every number has a loving family, one that will miss them. Humans aren't numbers, and as such, they should not be treated as one. We each share similar traits, but we are entirely different. We are no perfect beings. We are human, but most of us will end up feeling sorry for those which we kill. Many will grow after such an event to value the life they live and to cherish each moment, for it will not last forever. Living and dying, that is the value of human life. 30 seconds. 30 seconds was all the time the men had until they had landed. These 30 seconds felt like a lifetime. The men were strong and fit, standing in the landing craft in neat lines. They were aboard a Union dropship and were landing near an important mountain on the planet of Klipson. The mountain was named Fort Hughes. Klipson was a fielded planet, with a few small mountains elevating the lush terrain. Before the war, Klipson was an agricultural hotbed. However, after a devastating attack by the Galactic Confederation on the Union capital, the two nations went into a galactic war of supremacy. The war had only been raging for 2 months, and already several planets were under siege. However, by far the most brutal battle was the siege of Klipson. The siege was now in its 5th week, and by capturing Fort Hughes, the Union might be able to cripple the Confederate supply lines on Klipson. Standing in perfect formation, Private Kim Adams feared the worst. This was his first combat experience, and all the men that stood with him, who were his colleagues, friends, and brothers in arms, were new as well. Kim had thought of his comrades. More specifically, he thought about how he would react to losing them, and now his worst fears were being imagined. His hands shook at the thought of what was about to happen. 13 seconds were left when the gunship began to shake. Out of the small window, Kim saw AA fire hammering the other crafts. Kim shook, knowing his brothers probably thought the same things. Even the very professional sergeant was afraid to die. Kim looked at the doors, and in a few seconds, they opened. In an instant, an explosion knocked Kim off of his feet, as he fell in the mud. As he lifted his head, he saw his brothers fight all around him. He knew they weren't fighting for glory or medals, they were fighting to survive. Kim saw his friends being slaughtered by the incoming fire from a trench line, and his stomach turned as his best friends fell lifeless to the ground. Kim wanted to cry, to let his emotions out, but for some reason he couldn't. Kim lifted his hand and noticed blood, lots of blood all over. In a panic, Kim looked behind him and realized that the bottom half of his body was gone. He began to feel strange. A cold grasp seized him. He realized this was the end. He was sorry that he had to leave his friends behind. He was sorry to his family for never being able to give a proper goodbye. His eyes slowly closed, and with his last breaths, he gave a quick prayer. He died hoping that God would forgive him for the bloodshed that he had caused. He hoped the people he killed would forgive him. Within the day, Fort Hughes was captured, and all documents were secured. Just as predicted, the supply line of the Confederacy suffered. The Union had won the day, but not without a cost. On a marked gunship, a tall man with black hair was delivered to the new HQ. His name was General Colton. He began planning for the next phase of the operation, taking the city of Hughes.